because you can never have too much fishing stuff. Something new has come in. So before we get to that, let me show you where we're currently sitting in my bass fishing gear setup. So first, the rundown. First reel in rod combo, spinning reel, branded American Hero. Got it at Bass Pro Shops from the brand Lowe's. Pretty awesome. Super, super lightweight, so you really feel the fish on it. You can cast a mile with it. So it's pretty smooth, pretty nice casting. It was awesome. So my daughter wanted to get into it, so she got this Prodigy spinning reel in combo. And also pretty light, really nice fishing, really easy to fling that lure out there. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a Fluke, it could be a square crankbait. Everything just flies off of those two spinning reels. So pretty nice. I do like the handle right here, that it's not really gonna get dirty as much. And the Prodigy, it's nice and smooth. I'm not a fan of cork because they get dirty. I don't really like them. So they got cork in the back and this kind of covered right here where you're gonna be mostly touching it. So it's pretty nice, pretty smooth, pretty slick looking reel for my daughter. So then I really wanted to get into bass fishing and explore different options, different reels, different combos, different setups. So I wanted to try a Baitcaster that wasn't gonna break the bank, and I went into the Max X from Garcia, which was awesome. I had to figure out how to dial it in. But once I dialed in the brace and everything else in the setup, I can pretty much cast anything with this thing except a very, very, very heavy lure, which feels like you're gonna break the rod because it's just a medium rod, 6'6" medium rod. So I had to learn that you have to be careful what you use with it. But nonetheless, absolutely loved it, with one exception. Probably 2 weeks into it, this reel started failing. Not the reel, the rod started failing. So the handle, the material that they were experimenting with, it's not good. So it failed right away. Overall, an excellent setup for, I think it was 60 bucks that I paid for it. But it has one big flaw, and that was the material that they used for the grips. Everything else was absolutely perfect. I also did not like that these things get dirty. So they got stained pretty badly. I've been using with a frog. Yesterday I fished the frog the first time and caught 2 fish, so happy with that, so I left it out here. So anyway, the paddles are pretty comfortable. They're pretty small, but they're comfortable, but they do get dirty. There's no way to clean them. After this, I experimented and fell into the advertisement. I bought a Cast King Lethal Blaze. That's a whole other video in this channel. That thing was a disappointment for me, my experience. Probably a great product. Maybe I got a defective one, but there's another video on it, and I don't know. I did not want to try it again. So, an upgraded version of my favorite reel, the Garcia Max X. So yes, we got the updated version of it. So far, immediately I can tell I'm gonna like it more just because it's got the foam grips, right? So the failure mark of the previous reel, it's not gonna be there. We're not gonna have this happening because it's got hard plastic right here where all of the tension is. And then it's got big cork right here. So the option or possibility of failure, like in the previous models, is probably not going to be there. I do like the fact the color combination is pretty sweet. The black and silver is really nice, muted silver, not shiny at all, which was kind of iffy on this shiny stuff. I don't like the fact that it doesn't have the hollowed out, I don't know what you call it, the line feeder. So I kind of like the other thing, but this one feels lighter. So we'll see how that works. Everything else, the color combination is pretty nice. I'll put it next to each other so you can see. It's pretty sweet. So I'm gonna hook this up the same exact way. I'm gonna switch both of them out, and I'm gonna put the same line, the same fishing line, the same lures, the same crankbaits, and cast them one next to each other and see which one does better. Stay tuned. So as promised, here's a head-to-head comparison of the Garcia Max X combos. This is the combo I bought last year. It's the red, black, and gray 2-piece pole and Baitcaster, and the upgraded, very nice, black and gray Baitcaster. From what I can tell, this is a, what is this? A 5 bearing reel, and this is a 6 bearing reel. So I'm gonna use the same thing. They're both gonna use Flukes. I'm gonna cast each of them twice. I don't think there's gonna be fish here, but you never know. They'd be nice if they crash the party. So I'm gonna use the Fluke twice here, the Fluke twice here, and then I'll switch to a crankbait. So here we go. I'm using the Fluke on the OG Garcia Max X combo. I do know for a fact that I have to be very careful in the settings in this with the Fluke, or I'll get a bird nest. It's just the way it is. Not too far. That captured it all. Let's try it again. Release the brakes a little bit. Oh, not to get a bird nest. So I think you get a sense of where that's gone. We'll do one more. It's a bunch of fish jumping over there, so I don't know if I want to go out there. Those were a bunch of lightning on the way, so I want to get this out of the way. I'm trying to cast as easy as I can so I don't get hung up and create a bird nest on video. All right, so kind of landing in the same spot. So let's do the same exact setup with the new pole. So here's the new pole. In my opinion, it's much nicer. There's a bunch of fish jumping, so I'm kind of excited. Hopefully I can get something. But I've already set it. Let's see how this handles the lightweight Fluke. Goes a little bit further. If you can tell, there's absolutely zero backlash on this, so I think this is dialed in a little bit better than the old one. Let's try that again. Definitely goes further and a lot smoother on the new reel. So I can already tell that this is a better, more dialed in system than last year's version. I can actually see the fish over here swimming across, and you can see the ripples as it's coming into the shore here, searching for whatever it is. So I'm gonna give it one more cast and then I'm gonna do my test. And I think he took it. There we go. That's nice. All right. First fish. Here we go. It's a nice little fish. First fish on the new rod. I'll take it. Let's do the crankbait test. So it's not about the rod. It's not about the reel. It's about being in the right place at the right time. I was in the right place. He was in the wrong place. So we got a nice little fish. So we've already established that the fish don't care which rod you use. As long as you're in the right place at the right time, something's gonna hit. Now we're gonna go to the good test. heavier lures with these square bill cranks. Let's see how far they go. I'm gonna use the same exact crankbait on each one of the poles. So the crankbait we're using is one of my favorite in my collection. It's one of those 3-inch square bills. Catches a lot of fish around here anyway. And it casts pretty well because it's just heavy enough. Just good for this 6'6" medium rod and reel combo. And it goes pretty well. So let's see how this one goes. Here's cast number 2. Here's cast number 3. I'm actually going to cast overhead, which is bad for backlash, but it seems that the weight is just heavy enough on this lure that it wasn't doing. So let's go. All right, here we go. Same exact crankbait, refresh pole and reel combo. Let's see. Oh, actually caught a fish. Well, that was not expected. I was not trying to catch a fish, but I actually foul hooked this fish. But to me, if he hit it, that means he was looking at it. He went to it and he just got too close. So, I mean, that's not my fault. That's his fault. I don't know. Maybe it's luck, but this newer rod has caught 2 fish just while testing, which is not what I was trying to do. So twice I've cast it out, just wanting to check the distance and the fluidness of the reel, and it has come back with a fish. Now this guy is hooked outside of his body, which is a pain in the butt. But, I mean, fish number 2, new reel. I mean, it's nice that I'm catching fish at the test, but I'm trying to get a comparison feel for the casting. So let's see if we can do this again. And if it's a big fish, I'll take it. If it's a little one, just let me do this test real quick, all right? Here we go. Much smoother than the old reel. That was cast number 2 with the crank. So let's see what happens. Now I'm gonna try to bomb it across the pond, which I couldn't do with the other one. Here's cast number 3. First 2 impressions, of course, one is biased because I caught a fish. The other one went further, so now I'm gonna try to bomb it across. It kind of goes about 10 feet further, you know, 10 feet further than last year's version, and a lot smoother. So far I'm digging it. I'm gonna leave that out there. So if I had to vote between these 2, I would vote for the refresh model. You could probably pick this up real cheap right now because it's old, but it does have the problem that I mentioned before, that this thing fails. This I don't know if this was an experiment they did on the composite here, but this rubber fails. Everything else is great. This one should hold up better. So my pick would be to pick up the refresh version for 2026. Later.